Hello, BakaWashu here, and welcome back to Little Goody Two Shoes. Alright, let's figure out where our girlfriend is. Rosemarine, where are you? What are you doing here? This isn't your normal spot. Ow, what am I doing? Oh. Maybe she's over here. There you are. Rosemarine.
Good morning, Elise.
Have you completely lost your wits, Rosemarine? Last night in the woods, what were you thinking? What were you thinking saying?
I'm sorry.
That wasn't... You weren't yourself, Rosemarine. What do you mean?
Out with it!
Oh, don't give me that now.
Oh, but
No, Elise, I didn't even step foot in the woods. You were with me the entire time, Rosemarine. No, I wasn't. I couldn't follow you into the woods. The trees blocked my path. You went on ahead no matter how much I called out for you, and I did wait for you, but you never came back for me. If that wasn't Rosemarine, then who in the Lord's name?
Are you alright, Elise?
Is everything alright, Elise? You look a little,
Rozenmarine.
You can talk to me. You don't have to keep it all to yourself.
You know...
I had a dream about you. It was,
Elise.
I saw you and your grandmother, and it felt like I was seeing my path to finding you in Kieferberg.
It's fate, Elise.
Oh, Elise, it's fate.
Mm,
Fate, you say. You still don't believe it, do you?
uh,
Hard not to after, last night. Oh, did you get it? Huh? Why, the testament, Elise.
now that you mention it...
Yes, those crows, I was offered a strand of my own hair, and, Oh, Elise, that's wonderful. All you need to do is prepare it to be eaten. Eaten? Remember, these are gifts you're giving him, Elise. But it's, hair.
Yes.
Part of your own mortal body, yes. Gifts for the host. Food, drink, and good company. Food, you say? The tender flesh needs to be food.
Are you alright, Elise?
You look tired, Elise. Is everything alright? I feel like I'm losing my wits, Rosemarine.
Elise.
Elise. Come now, let's head out to work. Everything's falling into place, Elise. You'll see. Say, Elise. I've been wondering about that room upstairs. Granny Holly's bedroom. What about it? Wouldn't you like me to clean it as well? There's no need. I don't go in there at all. All the more reason to give it a good sweeping. I haven't been in there since she passed, you see. Oh, I'm sorry, Elise. I didn't mean to, That's alright. In fact, I don't even have the key anymore. I locked it up the day she passed, and I don't know where I put it. I understand, Elise. I wonder what happened to that key. Knowing myself, I may have thrown it off the peaks. Oh, well, we do have a key. Where did it go? There it is, fish key. But I doubt the fish key is gonna go in the room. It seems like this is gonna go to the fountain. Maybe we'll get something else from there. What is this? Is this a coop? I thought it was a coop at first, but there's no way for the chickens to get up there. And we don't have any chickens. Maybe at one point we had chickens. Oh, I thought it would be different if Rosemarine was with me. Okay, now very carefully, as always. Now that she's in our party, did it change? No, not yet. May thy flesh serve him was what those crows said. If that's what it takes to get there, I might as well give him everything I have. Oh, there's so many crows.
Is this?
What are these crows doing here?
Are you alright, Elise?
This can't be good. Might best hurry. Something I'd say worth wondering about, Rosemarine, is how Flock lost his eye, wouldn't you say? Oh, I've always wondered about that. I suppose he must have gotten injured, or could have been a branch, or maybe it might have fallen, perhaps. Doesn't seem he's in pain, at least. Oh, how I wish I could talk to him. I have so many questions, such as why he followed me, firstly. Your hat's made of hay, that's my best guess. Oh, I'd ask him his name, too. Isn't it Flock? I was the one who thought of that. It's not really his name. He's a goat, Rosemarine. Why, but he still has his own character, Elise. We're done wondering about useless things, Rosemarine. Oh, but it's so much fun, isn't it? Say, Rosemarine, you know how to sew, don't you? Somewhat, yes. That explains it, I suppose. Explains what? Why the patches on your dress are so clumsy. We could ask Mrs. Marielle to help, you know. Oh, but I quite like my dress. That's alright, but I'd say you deserve better, newer clothes, is all. I don't need better, Elise. This is my dress, it's been with me for years now. All these patches and tears mean something to me, you see. What does the moon-shaped one mean, then? Oh, this is from an old blanket of mine. It brings me comfort to have it with me wherever I go. And the squares? Granny patched it for me when I fell off a tree. I can't bring myself to part with it now that she's gone. Fine, you have your reasons. I appreciate the thought, Elise. So, like, kind of the polar opposite of Elise, huh? This is the Rosemarine I know, there's no doubt. Well, I don't know what to make of last night's Rosemarine, though. It was the witch. She was dressed up. Get out of here. What about you? Seen any witches about here? Watching solemnly over passers-by, the Lord's image rests eternalized in his wayside shrine. Nothing to say, huh? Ooh, there's a lot of them, huh? Oh, you're out. Oh, there you are. Lepkuin asked me to warn you two. What happened, like Granny Gretel? Or poor Apfel struck a dreadful fever. Oh, no! Lepkuin and Lisbeth were up all night looking after him. Is he alright? Seems so, but after that high of a fever, I wouldn't want him frolicking about too much. Where is he now, Granny Gretel? In church, I believe. Lepkuin said Father Hans intends to keep watch over him today. Father Hans? Oh, it's one thing after another here in Kieferberg, isn't it? The priest is watching over him? I don't like the sound of this. I hope he didn't drink any of that milk. I got a bad feeling about whatever happened to those goats. Remember they were saying they didn't think that they were going to survive the night. Why are they all over here? Get out of here.
What in the Lord's name?
What's all this?
Oh.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen so many crows at once. Come, Rosemarine, we must find out what's going on. Get out of here. Bunch of pests. Hey, before we go that way, we'll talk to a couple other things we can find them. Actually, we'll go talk to the ladies first. I think that we were supposed to. We'll be scraping bird poop off the roofs for weeks, Elma. Oh, Elise, would you take a look at this nonsense? These crows, I see. All of Kieferberg is thick with these filthy things. I told everyone I'd seen them yesterday, Mrs. Elma. They're a pest, and Lord knows where they've come from. Oh, but they're not dangerous, I'm certain. What are you saying, lass? Of course they are. You best talk some sense to your cousin, Elise. She's clearly not all there, the poor lass. All right, let's go, Rosemarine. Ah, yes. Are they blocking the door? Dang it! I better figure out why the crows are here in Kieferberg getting fast. Nah, they're here because they're bastards. Let's try walking this way. Might best go lend the lads a hand, Brunhilde. No, Giddo, please don't go. What's going on here? You don't mean to say you haven't seen them, do you? Well, I've seen them before anyone else in Kieferberg, as you know. You ought to know something about this then. Oh, please stop with that nonsense, Mrs. Wilma. Those wretched things broke into the windmill, Elise. Hence why I'd best head back there, Brunhilde. She's pregnant, Giddo. Don't let her get worked up. They broke into the windmill, Mr. Giddo? Stole our grain, the bastards. Ha, see. I must go, Brunhilde. I can't stand here all day. Oh, Giddo, what if they attack me while you're away? And go inside. Rather insecure, isn't she? Yeah, a little bit. Mrs. Adderley? Don't tell me you're hiding from the crows. I'm not going anywhere near those dreadful things. Oh, this is all your fault. How is this our fault, Mrs. Adderley? You two are hiding something, I know it. Old Oaken's being taken for a fool, but I know you. Is this because of what I said yesterday, Mrs. Adderley? All these awful going-ons. I understand it's frightening, Mrs. Adderley, but you can't. Oh, but these crows weren't enough. Even our children are hexed now. What are you? Shoo, leave me be, you. She's so certain Rosemarine and I are hiding something. Did Miffy spread this about town, or... Nope, we've kept her mouth shut. Her mouth's been stuffed with food. She hasn't had any time to say anything. Right, Miffy? Oh my god, Oh. Okay, before we continue on with that, let's check down here. Okay. Nothing. What happened to all of the cats that would have been perfect at scaring away these crows? They all miraculously disappeared? It's coming along, I suppose. Kieferberg's maypole leans clumsily to the side, still stripped of its main decorations. Someone's already been drinking, it seems. Folks truly don't have anything else to look forward to, do they? No use whining about it, Jacob. It's a no. But Granny... What's wrong, Mrs. Marlin? It's Apfel, lass. He came down with a fever last night. I've heard, yes. Do you know if he's feeling better, Mrs. Marlin? He is. It seems the fever was gone in the morning, but... Lepkichin said the poor lad was delirious. Oh, please let me go see him, Granny. Absolutely not, Jacob, and that's final. Where is he right now, Mrs. Marlin? In church, I've heard. Oh, I could go wait for him by the fountain. Wait for your father to come back, Jacob. I wouldn't want you at these birds' mercy either. Ah, but Granny. That also goes for you two. Don't go near these crows, you hear? No, but have they hurt anyone? Lord knows they could. Apfel's fever was rather serious, it seems. I'd best pay him a visit before I head off to work. Poor Apfel, please say you didn't drink any of the milk. I bet you he did. I still think we saved Miffy there when she was about to eat the cheese. Of course, knowing her, she probably would have been fine. No. No comments about it not doing its job, huh? I should have believed you last night, Elise. I suppose. Not that it would have prevented anything, though. Oh, the dreadful things are everywhere. They've been circling the windmill all morning, you see. Lads are still up there trying to do away with them. Circling the windmill? What for? Why, to steal our grain, Elise. Those crows are a bad omen, that's for sure. I wouldn't want to lend old Oaken's notions any weight, but, we should give it some thought, I'd say. Now that's a bad omen. It's not because of the grain, that's for certain. Yeah, why are they circling the windmill? Weird. There are less animals in here? What happened to your... Oh, okay, probably took it off. Huh. Maybe they're walking about. Alright, let's see what's up. Huh. I'll take good care of it, Father. There's nothing to see here, Elise. You'd best head back to town. You were the one who first saw these crows, weren't you, Elise? It's not as though you folks believed me when it mattered. I said it last night, and I'll say it again. You're hiding. It matters not. Old Oaken. We must focus on the matter at hand. We all had our fill of trouble last night, didn't we? We don't need any more yelling, that's for certain. Now, they didn't steal that much grain, folks. How much did they steal, Mr. Gustav? About a sack in total. We got here in time to prevent the worst. The darn birds were building a nest in the oven. We ought to give it a good scrubbing later. Doesn't seem they're keen on attacking us, at least. We've locked it up and trusted Eugen here with the key for now. I appreciate the trust. Of course, especially after all of yesterday's goings-on. Because he was stolen from, or because he has no horses to steal the grain with. Who's to stand guard here, then? Before we get into that, Bernard, there's something I'd like to say. We're all well aware of what happened last night. However, we ought to stick together, folks, now more than ever. You heard the man. Kieferberg is what we make of it. Don't forget that. I ought to head back to church. Is Apfel feeling better, Father? That's what I'm looking into, Finn. You'd best go with Elise. Lebquin will fill you in, I'm certain. Will do, Mr. Gustav. I was wondering, Elise. Mr. Bernard said the crows were trying to make a nest in the oven. I suppose it's a cozy little nook. I don't see what's So there's an oven in the windmill, right? There's always been an oven in the windmill. Rosemarine. What's your, The tender flesh, Elise. Wouldn't this be a good way to prepare it? Making bread out of it, you say? We could ask about town if they'd let you in.
Now that you mention it.
That's rather risky, Rosemarine. I suppose, but, I can't think of an other way either. Not if I want to find him. It's worth the try, I'd say. Alright, I'll see what I can find out. I'd say they snuck in through the roof, Gustav. When did you realize the crows were in the windmill, Mr. Ludwig? Heinrich came about to collect some flour this morning. He was the one who gave the alert. So you've locked it up, have you? We must keep those birds out, Elise, or they'll take all our grain. You could draw them away. Maybe if you scattered some grain elsewhere, Mr. Gustav, then the windmill could still be available and, We've thought about that, Elise. Nobody is in favor of wasting more grain, lass. Ah, I see. We ought to keep a close eye on the windmill, Elise. You can have a word with Eugen, perhaps. No, of course. I suppose they'll be guarding it all day. I'd best have a word with Mr. Eugen. I ought to find a way to get in here. Asking around town should be enough, but, Oh, it's nice to see you, Elise. You've heard about Apfel, I assume. I only heard he was ill, but that's all. Oh, the poor lad. I can't bear looking at his little hands. What about them, Mrs. Dorothy? It's best to hear it from me, Elise, so you get the real story. You've been up all night, Lisbeth. We can tell her. Apfel is fine now, as you can see, but last night I was awoken by him moaning, speaking nonsense. His fever was boiling him alive, and we called for Father's Hans and brought him to church, but Apfel had never been so well, I thought I'd lose him. He wasn't all there, either. Kept mumbling to himself, and I don't know how, but his hands were injured. It's horrifying, and they were so bloody. It's as if they were pecked at by something, I can't explain it. Please collect yourself, Mrs. Lisbeth. That's right, Mrs. Lisbeth. Take deep breaths. At first, I thought he'd caught the goat's sickness somehow, but it doesn't explain his hands or what happened to my goats. Oh, this is my disgrace. It's all right, Mrs. Lisbeth. We're all here for you. It's all right.
You know,
What about the goats? It must have happened while we were praying for Apfel in church. Oh my god. When Mrs. Lisbeth went to fetch him dry clothes, she, happened upon two of her goats lying on the ground. They'd bled to death, their tongues had been ripped out, and their heads were severed too. You can rest assured we'll help you, Mrs. Lisbeth. I shall arrange for a doctor to come as soon as possible. What am I to do with one sick goat, Father? We'll make certain you and the children don't go without, Mrs. Lisbeth. You're welcome to have supper with Finn and I anytime, Lisbeth. Thank you, but I don't have strength, Dorothy. Mrs. Dorothy will be looking after Apfel, Mrs. Lisbeth. You'd best go home and rest for the day. Of course, Father. Thank you. Come, I'll walk you and Apfel home.
I'm sorry,
This is awful, Elise. I had to pay them a visit later. It's one thing after another, isn't it? But first things first, I had to figure out how I'm going to get my hands on that key. Look how different the music is. It's a nice touch. You look awful, Lepkuin. That's no wonder, is it? Seeing Apfel so ill has me worrying about him all night. Mrs. Lisbeth said he was mumbling to himself. He was having convulsions, speaking of the witch, too. Sounds like he's been listening too much of old Oaken's nonsense, that's what. I think so, too. What about Apfel's hands? What was that about? I might say he did that to himself. He was gripping his fists the entire time, so... Say, Lebkuin, if this is about last night, Elise, what else would it be about, Leb? I'm worried about you. They gave me a lecture is all. Mr. Gustav was very supportive of me, but Father Hans, that old geezer better not have. Father Hans isn't all there either. Elise, what do you mean, isn't all there? Old Oaken's very much convinced you saw those crows for reasons, and, Father Hans starting to believe him, I think. Oh, for goodness sake. Be careful, Elise. There's only so much I can do for you. Been a while since we looked over here. Okay. Oh, perfect. Oh, I love that appearance. Can I shoo him away? Get out of here. Let's see. What do we got on our to-do list? Meet Rosemarine at the viewpoint. Alright, so... talk to Volks and investigate, of course. Let's do that, and then we'll go to Rosemarine. Let's start all the way up here, and then move our way all around. Actually, this time, I'm gonna start on the other side. Change my mind. Is everything all right, Mrs. Marielle? Oh, Elise, it's so horrifying to think this would happen to Lisbeth of all people. All on her own with 2 young children, too. Oh, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I haven't seen Grun all morning. I had a word with Mrs. Lisbeth early this morning. Grun was in tears. I couldn't bear the sight. It seems they're going to be in class with Dorothy and Lebkuin. I'll see what I can do for them this afternoon, even if it's just keeping them company or entertaining Grun. Oh, I can only hope none of this misfortune gets sent my way. I see why Mrs. Lisbeth was fretting about folks spreading nonsense about her. Oh, I haven't had a proper night's sleep since Friday. Elise here was sleeping like an angel, I'd wager. Messing with me first thing in the morning, are you, Mrs. Bertha? My, there's hardly a need to threaten folks like that, Elise. How is that a threat, Mrs. Elma? You can tell us, Elise. There's no harm. Don't say it. You were the only one who knew about these crows. Why is that? It's because I'm the witch. Ooh. There's nothing else I can say. I almost want to know how that one goes, but there's nothing else I can say. Mrs. Bertha's taking a liking to teasing us, Mrs. Audley. I suppose. Truly, Bertha, this isn't the time. Why, I'm not teasing anyone. This is a legitimate question. Doesn't matter who saw them first, Bertha. What matters is they're here and they're not leaving no matter what we do. This is an omen. That's what this is. Come now, Audley, let's get you home. Oh, can't Saturday come any sooner? This week has brought us nothing but trouble. These crows all about town, too. We ought to believed you yesterday, Elise. It doesn't matter anymore, Mrs. Ariane. All that's keeping me in good spirits is the festival, if I'm honest. You've heard about Apfel, Elise. The poor boy. I'll ask Mrs. Lisbeth what I can do for her later. She hasn't had time to look after herself, I'd wager. Oh, I can't bring myself to smile on days like these. That reminds me, Heinrich's spending the night out there. Because of the crows, isn't it? Together with Eugen, I heard. Poor lad hasn't had time to come to terms with what happened yesterday. Eugen will be gone by Sunday. You can mark my words. Mrs. Wilma. It's best to go visit Mrs. Lisbeth first chance I get. We'll do that sometime, this part. Better days will come, lad. When I'm settled in Primaldorf, God willing. Don't make hasty decisions, Eugen. What is it, Elise? I was wondering about the key. You're rather trusted, Mr. Eugen. With the key to the windmill, even. The lass is right, Eugen. It's a shame for you to leave. Nothing I can do about that, folks. There's nothing left for me here in Kieferberg, you see. Still, I think everyone would miss you, Mr. Eugen. Please reconsider. Nope, I've made up my mind, but I do appreciate it, Elise. Even this key, I will only be holding on to it until the evening. Till the evening, Mr. Eugen? It's too much responsibility, lass. I'm not too comfortable with it in my pocket, I must admit. Why not hand it over to someone else then? I could take it to Mr. Gustav if you'd like. That's all right, Elise. There's no better place than Kieferberg, lad. Ah, see, she tried. He's not letting go until this evening, huh? Maybe I can try my luck at the windmill again later. Cooking your hair in the oven isn't gonna make it, like, contaminated, right? I don't see anybody. Oh. There aren't any paddles lying about, huh? Are you looking for something, Mr. Finn? You can't be too certain with all these crows, at least. We ought to find a way to chase them away for good. How would we go about that? Paddles, shovels, wooden planks. Anything we can throw at them or hit them with. What about a net or a blanket? A net, you say? Wilma would have one in that shed of hers, I'd wager. I could ask her. I don't know where Wilma is, though. Can't talk to Wilma directly. She's only there to sell money. She mans the store. We ought to have believed you last night, Elise. That's all right, Mr. Gustav. I know I caught folks off guard. I do wonder where those crows came from, though. Well, at least I was hoping to have a word about Lebkuin. You owe that lass a piece of your very soul, Elise. Choice of words there. What do you mean, Mr. Gustav? The poor lass stood up for you against Father Hans and Old Oaken all evening. Ah, yes, I know. You'd have been in for a real earful had it not been for her. Lebkuin's a friend to keep, Elise. Don't take her for granted. I don't, Mr. Gustav. Old Oaken, huh? He's been rather vocal about these crows, too. But everything will be fine, folks. You'll see. Oh, you got a mission for me. Just checking if nobody else is down here. Ah, there you are, Elise. You seem troubled, Mr. Ludwig. All of Kieferberg's trouble lasts. Now, can you do me a favor? Bertha and I are thinking of spending a week in Primaldorf after the festival. In Primaldorf, Mr. Ludwig? My daughter has been insisting we visit, you see. Seeing our grandchildren would be good for Bertha, too. Why don't you visit more often, Mr. Ludwig? It's such a long way to Primaldorf. It's really not that far away. Do me a favor, will you, Elise? Go ask Finn if he can look after my cabbages while I'm away. Your cabbages, Mr. Ludwig? They need daily tending to, and these crows aren't helping. But tell him they simply can't beat them with a hoe, you hear? Why would he do such a thing? Young lads are lazy, that's why. I wouldn't say that what lazy folks would do, but yep, lazy folks probably just wouldn't show up. Mr. Finn, I got some cabbages for you to watch. Say, Mr. Finn, I was talking to Mr. Ludwig and, not the cabbages. He asked you to ask me to look after his cabbages. I know all about it, lass. He's losing his mind. That man is obsessed with his cabbages. He's been hounding me about them since yesterday. Well, alright, but what do I tell him, Mr. Finn? I'll do it. Whatever it takes to stop hearing about these wretched cabbages. He'll be having nightmares about those, won't he? The cabbages? Why aren't we using that? You bring good news, I'm certain. Mr. Finn said to leave it to him, Mr. Ludwig. Atta girl, Elise. I'm not the one looking after your cabbages, Mr. Ludwig. You still did me a favor, didn't you? For all your trouble. Thank you for the spiced wurst. You didn't have to, Mr. Ludwig. Where did he get it? He was just holding it? You could have this. I'd best go tell Bertha about our cabbages will be in good hands. This poor guy and his cabbages. Reminds me of another guy obsessed with his cabbages. Looking at the viewpoint first? What are you doing here? There she is.
For goodness sake.
You and that goat of yours, Rosemarine.
Oh, please.
There's no need to be jealous.
Rozenmarine!
I'm not jealous of a goat, you. Isn't she, Flock? How would you like to sleep with him out in the granary, Rosemarine? Oh, granary, that's right. I'd have Flock to hold up close. I wouldn't be cold at all.
For goodness
Why, you... Ah, Flock, don't get close to the edge. You be careful too, Rosemarine. You can see everything from here, can't you? I suppose.
Are you alright, Elise?
Something's on your mind, Elise, I can tell. Can't even be left to brood in peace, can I? You're going through some changes, that's all. Some changes, you say. Your path will become clearer and clearer, you'll see. I don't know about this. Not now, Rosemarine. I'm not ready.
Elise.
You're still overwhelmed, I see. It's difficult to not be, wouldn't you say? Why don't we head back to town, Elise? Aren't you a little too cheery?
For goodness sake.
Almost feels like you're mocking me, Rosemarine. Come now, Elise, give me your hands.
Rozenmarine!
Rosemarine, what are you? Let's dance, Elise. You're going too fast, Rosemarine. We're approaching the full moon, Elise. You know what that means. How would I know such a thing? It's time to celebrate new beginnings.
Here for you, Elise.
Our new beginning, together.
For goodness sake.
What new beginning, Rosemarine? You're not making sense. Why are you following your dreams, Elise? The fulfillment of my purpose, too. Everything's coming together just the way the stars told me it would.
Rozenmarine!
We ought to celebrate our good fortune, Elise.
Wait!
Wait, Rosemarine, you're spinning too fast.
Are you alright, Elise? For goodness sake! I'm sorry.
I used to dance with Granny like this every month, and You swung your Granny around like this?
Of course.
Of course, every month. Yeah, you're truly, Whether you believe me or not, Elise, let me put it this way. You see that castle in the distance, don't you? Yes?
Oh,
It may seem far away from where you stand now, but the stars are even further away, yet they still guided me to you, didn't they?
Rozenmarine.
Are there any other places with pretty views in Kefferberg? I suppose the windmill's not bad. Will you meet me there tomorrow afternoon, then?
I see.
Our new beginning together, she says.
I'm sorry,
I'll be there, Rosemarine. We'd best head back now.
Yes.
So there's some more investigation. I think we need to play with the kids to cheer them up. Even though I hate that game. The game sucks. Out of here. Why are we not motivating these children to? Did I check if the bakery had new stuff? I don't even remember anymore. Oh yeah, no, okay, there's nothing new. Nope. You know how to cook hair? Not a completely irrelevant question, just was wondering. Not there. Yeah, a leaf just go right in front of the camera. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Yes,
Muffy.
it's you.
For goodness sake.
That's not enough. I'm not giving you one more crumb.
Oh.
But you promised. You promised me some Lebkuchen. I promised you nothing. Mercy. Folks already thinks it's strange, Elise, that you knew about the crows since yesterday.
Not so.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead? Who's to believe a scrawny little squealer like you anyhow? Old Oaken does, Elise. Miss Odalie does too. Oh, do they? What are you telling them then? That I saw you talking to those crows yesterday. Oh, you're saying stuff anyway. There was a golden one too, wasn't there? Wait, what?
Muffy.
She was actually there! Wait, why you? Following you about town is truly so much fun, Elise. I just know you have the Lebkuin. You promised me tucked away somewhere.
Alright.
You keep your mouth shut, you hear? I don't want to add any more to these folks' imaginations. Why, but they're not imagining anything, are they?
Oh, shush it.
Shut it, Muddy. Not one more word about this.
You know.
I'll keep quiet, but I was wondering, she's gonna ask for a literal turkey dinner. Watch. I gave you what you wanted, so go away. Alright, but why don't you bring me some soup tomorrow? Oh, soup, that's not bad.
Out with it.
Off with you, Mandy. I just ate soup. I should have kept it. How was I supposed to know she wanted soup? This is tiring, Rosemarine. Asking about town, you mean? No, I don't think we can count on that. I should have chosen my words a little more carefully, I suppose. That's alright, Elise. We'll find a way. It's a little too late for that, Rosemarine. If only I could turn back time and attempt it again. Either way, Elise, folks are rather restless. What do you mean? I did everything with, like, the least amount of suspicion. Was that... Maybe that was just a turn of phrase. Either way, Elise, folks are rather restless. You haven't been asking about town yourself, have you? No, of course not. Alright, well, I'll call for you if I need you. I'll be here, Elise. You can't just say that to me. Did I miss something? Hold on. No, I had to go home. I think it was talking about... Huh. I don't know. You should weave in more of the blue flowers, Linda. Didn't we leave the maypole to Freya this year? Freya clearly has better taste anyhow. I don't remember inviting you to this conversation, lassie. Come now, Mrs. Wilma. Freya's not even finished with it yet. I'd say she'd be sad if you changed it without telling her, Mrs. Wilma. Why, I'd never do such a thing. I trust your judgment. Having her lend a hand with the wreaths, too. So you can find even more faults in her work. I see. I haven't asked you for a hand for a reason. It's best we keep calm. I swear these old hags are trying to vex me. Nothing. Don't go losing your wits like that, Odalie. It may be best to rest for today, Mrs. Odalie. Is everything alright? What's gotten into her? Odalie's terrified of the crows, Elise. Old Oaken's right. It's that lassie and her cousin. Oh, for goodness sake. This isn't good for you, Odalie. Think about your health. Your heart can't take much more. Oh, but I can't settle down, Marielle. The Lord is with Kieferberg. We must not forget that. You ought to put your faith in him, Mrs. Odalie. That's right, Odalie. You can't get swayed by whatever old Oaken says. Do I look like a witch to you, Mrs. Odalie? Oh, I wouldn't know, lass. What do you mean you wouldn't know? Don't rile her up, Elise. We'll take care of her. Don't you worry, dearie. I like how they sometimes do just like a 360. Oh, dude, I want to do chores for you, but I gotta play with the kids. It's best you start confessing, Dorothy. A mother's sin passes on to her child, you know. Oh, for goodness sake. Why, it's a fact, Elise. What you ought to do, Dorothy, is wear your rosary all 9 months. Okay, was that a little hint that something Holly did passed on to Elise? Oh, I will, but Brunhilde, she... What about Mrs. Brunhilde? She's been doing these, divinations. I don't think those work anyhow. Why not let her then? I don't think those work anyhow. It's all old wives' tales and whatnot. Still, Elise, it could be harmful if she goes too far. With this witch nonsense about town, too. May have been better for... Oh, being her who brought all these crows even. Oh wow, they really are superstitious. Oh, for goodness sake, Mrs. Loreley. Honestly, Loreley, we can't go around making accusations left and right. She would never do such a thing, Mrs. Loreley. Alright, alright. You don't all have to pounce on me like that. Didn't like the taste of your own medicine, huh? Did I just see something weird? Oh, it's the crows in the background. Dude, they are just everywhere. Where are the kids playing at? Maybe they're coming out later. Oh, Finn is gone too. They've had their fill, I'd wager. The crows, Mr. Ghetto. They've been circling the windmill all morning, the bastards. Yet they haven't come for the grain even once. Would you say they won't? No reason to stand guard, then. Would you say they won't? If they haven't attempted it until now, who's to say, Elise? We can't leave the windmill, that's what. No. I was saying that maybe now. They're not coming for the grain because we're here, I'm certain. They'd come diving down the moment we left, I'd wager. That's a given. I suppose. Just crows doing crow stuff. Alright, we got some more to talk here. We were just talking about you, dearie. Me, Mrs. McTilda? Oh, Elise, aren't you scared of these crows? Yeah, they're more of a nuisance, I'd say. See, Brunhilde at least doesn't let it get to her. No, but there are so many. They haven't attacked anyone, have they? No, not at all. They're just hopping about town, it seems. It certainly is strange, but I don't think there's much harm. You don't think there's a witch about town, Mrs. McTilde? I'm old enough to know such things don't exist, Brunhilde. Truly, Miss Brunhilde, you can't listen to these old folks. Oh, I suppose that's true, except for this one right here who said it doesn't exist. I'm glad Mrs. McTilda's urging folks to keep calm. It's rather tricky now that we don't have Eugen's horses. You could lend us a hand, Freya.
Elise!
Oh, Elise, won't you tell Papa to stop before he, Freya's as strong as I am, believe it or not. I do believe it.
Papa.
Looking rather flustered, aren't you, Freya? Because it makes it sound as if I'm I'd say it's an asset, not a fault, Freya. I'm not that strong anyhow. I must say, I'm curious to see that now, lass. Don't pressure her, Heinrich.
Wait, really?
Oh, but even I would like to see how strong she is. Alright, alright. Oh my god. How's this then? I can't believe it. Gustav weighs as much as a horse, but look at that. She barely broke a sweat, too. That's my daughter, Atta-girl, Freya. What are you feeding her? She's the one that's eating nothing but eggs. Papa, not in front of Elise, too. Eh? This is the kind of cheer Kieferberg needs. Truly, I'm tired of hearing about this witch. Freya's so strong she could easily throw me off the peaks, huh? Oh, what am I thinking? Yeah, she clearly could. She might be the strongest character we've ever seen in this universe. It's a good thing Apfel's feeling better, Lisbeth. Now, okay, so he started feeling better the second he went to church? Do I remember that correctly? So it was being away from the church? Or maybe it was away from Father Hans? I'm trying to think about... Because he immediately started getting better at church. No use in brooding now. It'll only wear you out even more. Oh, I can't help but worry. Mr. Bernard is right, Mrs. Lisbeth. Even so, you must keep an eye on the children. How's your horse, Eugen? Tired still. Poor thing's lying about in the hay. So are my goats. To think someone would do such a thing. I've been keeping calm, not wanting to rile folks up, but... You've been too calm, I'd say. Cursing Kieferberg to hell won't bring my horses back, Bernard. Someone ought to have done it, that's all I have to say. I must say, I'm starting to understand how those old folks feel. Mrs. Lisbeth, it's certainly easier to believe there's a witch, isn't it? Can't say I don't understand, I simply can't bring myself to agree. She'd be better off marrying Eugen, I'd say. Who's marrying Mr. Eugen? Oh, Bertha's jesting, Elise. You have to agree, Marlin, they're about the same age, too. You can't be talking about Mrs. Lisbeth. Who else would I be talking about? Elise. Now, we can't be spreading this nonsense about town, you hear? It's far from nonsense. Those children need a proper father. Eugen's leaving first thing next Monday anyhow. A big mistake, if you ask me. I'm not too certain about Eugen myself, but I must agree poor Lisbeth would be better off now if she's remarried. The nerve of these old hags talking behind folks' back. Yeah, that pisses me off too. I just came here to admire the wares. I have a feeling we're gonna need one of these. I just don't want to burn all my money on it. I'll buy one more of these. I mean, I'm gonna have to buy one of those anyway. Oh, now you remember my name, huh? You remember my name as soon as I buy something, Alright, let's go explore that fountain. It looks like it takes it off of the map as soon as I've talked to people, which is nice. Or my missions or whatever. Wow, those crows are really annoying, huh? So what I was saying before is, so this is Mrs. Lisbeth's house. I saw the kids playing in front of it before. You can see the goats are literally not walking around anymore. So the kid left this house, went to church. Father Hans came out with like a rosary or something, and Lebquin was there, and then he started feeling better? Oh man, I really think it was because he drank some of the milk or something. The part about him being delirious was the scariest. Hopefully people keep a good eye on him. Hopefully nobody's here. Oh shit. Oh, that's like the worst person to be here. Hiding from those folks, are you, Leb? It's that obvious, isn't it? To me, yes. Folks have been hounding me all day is all. I don't want to admit it at least, but I made a mess of that whole ordeal. I'm truly sorry, Lebkun. I didn't mean to trouble you. That's not what I was going to say, but please continue. I feel awful about it. I know you do, Elise. It doesn't matter anymore. What were you going to say then? That we ought to take all these goings-on seriously, Elise. There's no witch, Lebkun. Yet folks are losing their wits all the same, aren't they? Best keep calm, is what you're saying. Say, Elise, you're hiding something from me, aren't you? You're putting yourself in danger, aren't you, Lebkun? You know me. You know I can tell when something's not right. It's nothing to worry about. In truth, it's not even, whatever it is, Elise. I won't be able to help you with it. Not when you keep secrets from me, and not when, No, I won't say it. Lebkun, I truly, Be careful, Elise. That's my only request. Well, maybe because she's looking the other way. I don't see anywhere to use the key. Maybe it needs to be done at night. What am I missing here? Like, there's no way, right? I guess we'll check this night. Unless there's something else here that has a fish motif. I don't think I really saw anything. So later we're gonna ask Yugen about the keys, so... Yeah, let's go play Pass the Rat or whatever it was with the... Is this Apfel right here? Oh, he's feeling better. There she is, catch her! Huh? Come play Kiss the Rat with us, Lise. Aren't you sick, Apfel? Not anymore, I've been at home resting all day. Apfel hates Kiss the Rat, but he can watch us. Oh, please, Elise. Yep. For goodness sake, you don't have to beg. Hooray, hooray. Hurry up, I want to go play hide and seek next. Yeah, that would kill me. Oh, Jacob, you messed up. We almost had her. It's not my fault, Karun. You can take this, Elise. You deserve it more than Jacob. I barely won. I have to get better at this game. Oh, interesting. That's not good. Oh. Why, I was jesting, lass. You didn't have to bring me the entire coop. Merely did what I was asked to, Mr. Wilhelm. Here you go, Elise. For your hog! Oh, if only there was enough for even a sausage, let alone an entire hog.
Wait, we could do more chores? Oh. Romance event. Meet Rozenmarine at the windmill. Later. Oh, we're still not asking about... Oh, okay. They're giving me lots of time for to get some money. Thank goodness. I was wondering, Elise, don't you find it strange the crows are still hanging around town? Now that you mention it, I already got the testament. There's no reason for them to stay. Unless there's something else they want from you, Elise. Such as, oh, I wouldn't know. Something else they're wanting. They guided you to the windmill. I suppose that was nice of them. Ah, how nice of them indeed. It may be they're waiting to tell you something else. We'll see about that, Rosemarine. That's right, chew out this little shit. Understood, Maddie. Oh, but, my Annie's going to, What have you done now, Molly? Elise, isn't that what you think I didn't? She stole one of Mrs. Elma's buns she had cooling on the windowsill. Wow, you are a bad kid. No, I didn't. She gave it to me and, Mrs. Elma had me give Molly here a good earful. Does your auntie not feed you, Molly? It's complicated. She doesn't? I'm still growing, lass. At least 8 buns a day isn't enough. 8? Either way, Missy. It's my fee. Why can't any of you... Stealing is never justified, alright? You can come to me if you ever need anything. Oh, Lebquin. If only Elise was as kind as you. Why, you? Maybe it's best you go home to rest, Lebquin. I'll go with you, then you can get me some pretzels. Oh, for goodness sake, Mindy. Why don't you go ask Granny Gretel? Tell her I sent you. She'll give you some. Anything you want. Hooray, hooray. Lebquin truly looks tired, doesn't she? So you've taught the child that she could just lie and say that you sent her? It's as though you've never had a fever yourself, old Oaken. The lad was crying out to the witch, Matilda. Where exactly did he hear such nonsense, Mr. Oaken? At least finally someone to talk some sense into this fool. Lisbeth herself said the lad was delirious, lass. Mrs. Lisbeth never said anything about a witch, Mr. Oaken. You ought to stop spreading this nonsense about town. Folks are already tense enough as it is, Oaken. Old Stefan warned us about this, Matilda. If I may ask, old Oaken, what's so special about old Stefan's word? I must say I'm curious too. Old Stefan knew Kieferberg was to face many trials, lass. And now we're seeing them right before our eyes. What about the witch then? Very true. I'm yet to see her about and about, Oaken. Time will reveal all, I say. Mr. Matilda's presence seems to have kept him calm, but I'd say the harm is done as nonsense has already spread throughout the town. At least, you got a lot of gall calling it nonsense. A lot. Don't touch it, Groon. It doesn't matter, Jacob. It's dead. What in Lord's name are you two doing with that thing? Elise, good grief, you two know better than to touch that filth. Oh, please don't tell Mama. It fell from the sky, Elise. We were playing and it fell from the sky, I swear. Alright, fine, stop yelling. It fell from the sky, you say. Straight down. Jacob thinks it might have been sick, but, don't you dare touch it, Groon. Don't yell at me, Elise. Apfel was the one who saw it first, Elise. He ran off to find some rocks for the funeral. What are we talking about? The funeral? Whose funeral? The crow's, Elise. Just don't touch it, whatever you do. What about your mama, Groon? I don't want to talk about it. Apfel said Mrs. Lisbeth isn't feeling so well. Go away, Elise. You're not invited to the funeral. Groon.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, Elise. Mrs. Wilma's working me like a donkey today. When doesn't she? I'm sorry, Elise, I didn't mean to yell. All of Kieferberg is on edge today, Freya. You need to let off a little steam, too. Oh, I can't help it. I should bring some cheer back into folks' days, Elise. Who made it your duty to do such a thing? Why, I did. We're all grumpy enough as it is. I can't make it even worse. Folks don't appreciate your cheer enough, Freya. Oh, Elise, we can't blame them, can we? Don't you get tired of getting nothing in return? Why, but this is who I am, Elise. I enjoy looking after folks as best I can. I can't help it. You're truly... I suppose it does make me look a little foolish, doesn't it?
Nope, makes you look awesome. A little bit, but I suppose it makes her who she is.
I was starting to think you wouldn't come about, Elise. We have yet to discuss what happened last night. What about it, Father? Those crows you claim to have seen, are they the same ones that... Are you expecting me to know them by name, or... I'm asking you nicely, Elise. Let's not try each other's patience. I know as much as you do, Father. We're gonna just straight up lie. It's all you have to ask me, then I'd rather. No, that's not all, Elise. I must ask you mind your words in town. Oh, for goodness sake. You have claimed to see those crows last night as rather... What does this have to do with me, exactly? Folks don't know any better, Elise. This is rather... If that's the case, when I'd recommend having a word with old Oaken instead. He's the one terrorizing Mrs. Audley day and night. Old Oaken's a different matter, altogether, lass. In that case, I believe we're very much done here, Father. My attitude, he says.
Oh, I could use the log. Okay. Oh, I would be running home if I were you, Elise, but Lord knows what those crows have done to it by now. The wretched things are everywhere. We've been trying to get rid of them, but they won't budge. Have they broken into anyone's home, or...? Not yet, but they most definitely could. They're crows. They're thieves, like rats. You'd best hide that brooch of yours, Elise, lest they steal it. You're making too much of it, Mrs. Marlin. Have you heard about Apfel, Elise? That he had his hands pecked by the crows? That's nothing but hearsay, Bertha. My, but isn't it horrifying? Apfel gripped his fists too tightly, nothing more. Oh, you'd say that's it? Of course that's it, Bertha. Ludwig says he'll have a word with Father Hans about it, but... As if they have anything to do with it. To think these folks are spreading this nonsense. And... oh, they are watching it.
Best not to get too close, lass. Lord knows they might swoop down for that brooch of yours. Aren't you making too much of it, Mr. Tristan? No, he's right, Elise. It is dangerous. I can't seem to settle down with these crows flying about. And Apfel's fever, too. What if it's contagious? Apfel's fever's... oh, feeling better already, Mr. Tristan. Father Hans is urging us to stay calm, folks. We must see to our duties, nothing more. Easier said than done, Ludwig. Mr. Tristan. There was a theft, Tristan. Nothing strange about that.
Apfel's fever was just that. A fever.
And I'd wager these crows will give up on our grain soon enough, too. I'm still not convinced, Ludwig. I must apologize, lass. To me, Mr. Bernard? Had we believed you last night, we could have prepared ourselves. I can't say I see how, if I'm honest. We could have locked the granary for starters. Makes one wonder why they're perched here in Kieferberg. It's a rare sight, that's for certain. Have you seen crows here before, Bernard? A long time ago, almost 20 years ago. It wasn't nearly as bad as this, however. It's best we have a word with Father Hans. About what, Mr. Heinrich? Kefferberg needs some direction, Elise. I must agree, Heinrich. Gustav's struggling to find common ground with Father Hans, too. It is true Father Hans doesn't seem too concerned, that's for certain. We must tell him his folks need him. They feel Mr. Gustav and Father Hans aren't seeing eye to eye, huh? We're taking Gustav's side. Should the choice arise. Oh, I guess Lebkuin. Maybe I'll listen to her words if she has an opinion on it. All this cloth must be Mrs. Wilma's. She's so messy. Yeah, she's sprawling out everywhere. Guess let's go peek at... Was it Mrs. Lorley's house? Wasn't part of our mission, but... could be something there. I didn't know you were coming with, Elise. Where to, Mrs. Linda? We're stopping by Lisbeth's, Elise. Oh, my poor Jacob won't settle down. It's taking a toll on the children, that's for certain. I'm meaning to ask her if they would like to spend the night with us. They'd appreciate spending some time together, I'd wager. Lisbeth will most likely want to watch over Apfel, Linda. Oh, that's true. Apfel's seen those goats, he tells me. That's such a horrible sight for someone his age. I'll come about later, too. I'm concerned about Mrs. Lisbeth. Oh, me too. Her being a widow also.
Oh. Wait. Okay. How did he die?
What does it have to do with any of this, Mrs. Brunhilde? Truly, Brunhilde, don't be superstitious. Well, I suppose. Goodness, Elise, leave some apples for the others. Very funny, Mrs. Elma. Thank you for your time, lass. You did well. Are you alright, Mrs. Elma? Why, yes. Why do you ask? She's being a little too nice. I can't take her seriously. Oh, yeah.
Did she pay me more?
Dang, didn't think of it that way. Yep, give me money, or I'll hex you.
I think I probably am going to have to top off my sanity here pretty soon. Yeah, I think that this is a well-deserved purchase. And for those of you who aren't keeping track, that the S pluses in the games just today, the difference I would have made between an A and an S just almost just paid for that entire thing. So, all right, still nothing, huh? Well, the only thing I can think of is just like how with the windmill, maybe it needs to happen on a certain day. Because I tried to come back here every part of the day. Long day today, was it, dearie? For you too, Mrs. McTilda? Not at all. I had a lovely nap just earlier. I can't remember last time I took a nap. Let's call it the perks of old age, my dear. There aren't many, but I make the most of it. You're rather cheery, Mrs. McTilda. Why, most of the crows are gone, Elise. That's a relief, I must say. Makes one wonder why, doesn't it? Sure does, Mrs. McTilda. Sure does. I guess they are mostly gone. Not all gone, but mostly gone, huh? On your way home, are you? Rest assured, Mr. Bernard, I'm about to leave. Afraid the lass will be taken by the crows, Bernard. We'd best not jest, old lad. What about you two? Still worried about the crows? I wish they'd leave already, that's what. They're just resting here, I'd say. They didn't hurt anyone or try to steal anything else. It's not as bad it's not as though they necessarily had to, Mr. Bernard. Doesn't sit right with me is all. Speaking of which, I'm concerned about Eugen. He's been rather cheery for someone who's been robbed, don't you think? I'd say he seems fine to me. Folks like him, Elise. Oftentimes, they're misleading you to think they're in good health. What makes you think that, Mr. Wilhelm? Eugen isn't one to share his thoughts, lass. The lad's the same as always, although nothing's happened. We must make certain he isn't left on his own for long stretches of time, lest he, Mr. Eugen's had it with this town, that's all. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Wow, this game's getting real serious. Everything will be alright, I'm certain. Is everything alright? Ma, we were talking about Kieferberg, Elise. Kiddo can't make up his mind about leaving, which is a little, You want to leave, Mrs. Brunhilde? Well, I can't say for certain, but it's a shame, isn't it? Folks used to want to move here, not the other way around. I've been discussing it with Finn, too. He's rather hesitant. We all know where you land in this argument, don't we, Elise? I suppose you do, Mrs. Marielle. Oh, I'm so torn about it. I came from Primaldorf after all, if I were to go back. Oh, enough, Brunhilde. I'm losing my mind. Oh, there you are. Another one, I see. Huh? Say, what is it you're meeting him for? I don't think that's any of your business. Let me tell you something then. Forsake all you think you know about yourself. What do you mean? There's no amount of determination that can save you from him. Once you're in those woods, once you go through that door... What? You'll be left with nothing but harrowing regret. Why are you telling me all this? Oh, apple strudel. Nice. Yeah, we were gonna check up on this, too. I guess maybe they meant tomorrow. I have to duck to go inside. Oh, there you are. Wait, Elise. There you are, lassie. Huh? We need to have a word with you, Elise. A word with me, you say? Your cousin's been going around town spreading nonsense, Elise. Such as? Why, saying the crows are nothing to fret about, for instance. She's a kind soul, Mrs. Elma. She isn't afraid of any animals, on the contrary. I see how that might be true, Elise, but still. We're to be wary of such things, not make little of them. I understand, Mrs. Elma. But that's not all, lass. She's been asking about Apfel's fever, you see. Why, she's a worrier, Mr. Ludwig, which is probably actually true. Everyone's worried about Apfel, why wouldn't she be? Well, that's a fair point, Elise. I don't think there's any point in making too much of things, Mrs. Elma. This is dangerous. I ought to make certain I bring Rosemarine to work with me. Or I'll have to deal with this every day. Oh, I didn't... Oh! They're trying to get me to use up my bread, though. What the... Oh, please, Elise, don't tell my Annie. What in the Lord's name are you doing out here, Melly? I've had it with her, Elise. She always wants me working all day. Perhaps she needs your help, Mindy. She only likes me when I'm working. I'm certain she wouldn't look for me if I went missing. You haven't seen Apfel, by chance, have you? I was looking about, but... That's alright, Molly. You won't tell my Annie, will you? Not after what you've just told me, no. Still, you'd best not try her patience too much. You hear? Oh, Elise. Since you like me so much, won't you give me some... Oh, for goodness sake, Miffy. Wow, she is just always searching, huh? Mrs. Laureley's too hard on Molly, I'll give her that. I don't think she's hard enough. Discipline this child. That is not a cute behavior. I know, Elise. I haven't said anything yet, have I? You don't have to, Elise. What am I to do with you, Lebkachin? At least tell me you'll get a good night's sleep tonight. If nobody else breaks into a fever, I might. Here's your bread, Elise. What's on your mind, Leb? Things that would upset you, Elise. I'm not certain you trust me at all. I trust you enough to not ask you about it. You keep coming back to this, Leb, if there's... I meant it, Elise. You don't have to tell me. Whatever it is you can't tell me, I won't pry. You trust me that much, huh? Even if you truly were the witch. Lebkuin. I mean it, Elise. I trust you'll tell me in time, whenever you're ready. You're truly... tired. For someone who's so attentive to others, Lepquin, you're not a... I'll see you about town tomorrow. Oh, for goodness sake, you're so stubborn. Oh, you know what I bet it is? This apple strudel. I bet when the festival turns on, she's gonna start selling some special stuff or something. Because so far, these ghosts have given me the things that I need to give Mimsy. Or not ghosts, sorry, although technically ghosts. The Golden Girls. I don't see anything. Elise. Elise, come quick. What's the matter, Jacob? It's Apfel. He's gone missing. Oh, no. What? Oh, please come quick, Elise. We must go and look for him. That's right. We can't sit about waiting forever.
You know,
What's going on here? Hopefully the lads will find him on their patrol. They will happen upon him, I'm certain. They don't know he's missing, Father. By the time they're back, my poor boy could have... Mama, we all need to remain calm. Calm, Father, my boy is missing. Lord knows if he's alright, let alone in the worst has happened. We all know those crows were an omen.
Out with it!
Not this again, you old wretch. Ought to have taken the lad to the witch. What a horrible thing to say, old Oaken.
You old geezer!
You truly have no decency, you.
That's enough.
We cannot give in to hysteria, brethren. Oh, to think the lads went out in search of crows. The crows were a threat, lass. Oh, that's it. I'm going looking for him myself.
Anyway,
I'll go. Let me be the one to go, Mrs. Lisbeth. It's best we wait for the lads, and I can't allow. Oh, will you really, Elise? Now there's a brave lass. Oh, but Father Hans is right, it's dangerous. Leave it to me, Mrs. Lisbeth. Oh, Elise. I do not condone your disobedience, Elise. I do. I need you to go, Elise, for Angelica's sake as well. Truly, the poor lass can't be without a mother. We can lend a hand with whatever you need, Elise. You'd best make certain you have enough food and matches, dear. I'll be here, Elise. Let me know when you're leaving. Oh, Elise, maybe it's best one of us goes with you. I'll be fine, Mrs. McTilda. You can always change your mind, Elise. Lebquin's right, Elise. Who's to go if I don't, Freya? Well, that's, it's a good thing that you volunteered, Elise. You're a capable lass. I'm certain you'll find him. Thank you, Mrs. Arion. I'm wondering how we didn't notice. It's no use blaming ourselves now, Mrs. McTilda. The children told Mrs. Dorothy they lost sight of Apfel. Sometime before nightfall, it seems. Apfel was feeling alright. It may be that, Why, Freya? Perhaps he felt ill and didn't want anyone to fret. Oh, don't say such a thing. Apfel couldn't have wandered too far. Anyhow, it'll be fine. Apfel got lost somewhere. I'm certain that's all there is to it. May the Lord be with you, Elise. Couldn't the Lord have prevented him from wandering off in the first place? But enough chit-chatting. I had to go find Apfel. Let me go with you, Elise. You're not going anywhere, Jacob. I'm a man too. Apfel needs us, Granny. Elise doesn't need you getting in her way, Jacob. Your mother's right, Jacob. I wouldn't get in the way. I wouldn't. I couldn't look after you and myself at the same time, you understand? No, but I wouldn't. We must trust Elise, Jacob. I know you're hurting, Jacob, but she's right. Mama, I'll do my best to find him, Jacob, I promise. All right, Elise. Enough chit-chatting. We talk about there's more. My Elise, I wasn't expecting you to volunteer of all people. That was rather brave of you, Elise. I couldn't sit still and do nothing. My, how fearless. Truly, with all this talk about the witch and whatnot, if only the lads were in town. Who knows? They might find him out and about. They don't even know to look for Apfel, Elise. It could happen nonetheless, Wilma. Do you have everything you need, Elise? I believe I did. No, handouts. Why don't you take this? Oh, thanks. I just bought some. It's not much, I know. Thank you, Mrs. Elma. Well, don't expect any charity from me, lassie. Be careful, Elise. First it was that awful fever, and now this. Mrs. Lisbeth looks horrified. I can't even imagine.
We can only hope he hasn't broken into a fever again wherever he is. All you can do now is bring him back to Kefferberg as fast as you can, Elise. There's only so much one can do after all. Oh, I wouldn't know what to do if this happened to me. You'd best keep a close eye on Maggie, Mrs. Loreley. Mary, she can look after herself just fine, lass. Better than most folks here in Kefferberg, I'd say. Mrs. Loreley, poor Mandy is still a child. Oh, there's much you don't yet know about her, Dorothy. Such as, she wouldn't let herself starve, for starters. Well, yeah, you're right. Mary's rather resourceful when it comes to food, that's for certain. But enough chit-chatting, I must find Apfel. I still like how her name is just completely random every time. Never know what it's going to be. Okay, one check inside. See if Father Hans has got a handout for me. Oh, I'm certain he's all right, dearie. I can only hope you're right, Mrs. Marielle. We must keep a positive outlook, Mrs. Lisbeth. I thought you didn't condone my disobedience, Father. My duty is to care for my brethren's well-being, Elise. You ought to be aware it's dangerous. The lass couldn't bear the thought, Father. We can't leave Apfel roaming the woods all by himself. Lord knows how sick he was yesterday. If that fever were to strike him again in those woods, I'll make certain to find him, Mrs. Lisbeth. I appreciate it, Elise, but if you find it's too dangerous, Elise will find him, Lisbeth. We must trust the lass. Here you go, Elise. Please be careful. Oh man, they are really loading me up on health, huh? Thank you, Mrs. Lisbeth. We'll make certain to send the lads after you when they arrive. Don't wander off too far, you hear? Thank you, Elise. And then I changed my mind. I'm like, never mind, I'm actually not gonna go. Where is she hiding? She's still hiding. There she is. Okay. Anything to add? Guess not. Do I need anything? I think I'm okay. Oh. Wait. I was expecting it to be different. Here I am again. I ought to find Apfel, and fast. Was there even a place? Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't know where we are. Yeah, where is Rozenmarine? That crow's trying to tell me something, I suppose. That means that way's optional. I'm gonna go the other way. No choice but to go the other way, I suppose. Okay.
Alright, okay, you know. I understand. Still can't run.
This isn't where I was yesterday. Is it? Apfel. Apfel, can you hear me? I have to find him. Goodness knows what could have happened to him by now.
But first items. Ooh, more slabs. Whoops. Did that crow just die?
Ignorance is bliss, says everybody. Oh, has nobody ever told you that? Plenty of times, I suppose. To be unable to grasp how fortunate we are until it's too late. Charmingly tragic, isn't it? I don't see what's so charming about it. You'll come face to face with it, too. The ruinous grief of your biggest, heaviest regret. What's yours, then? The same as yours. We all share the same penitence. Talking to girls like this is never a very pleasant experience, is it?
Oh. Expensive looking rosary bearing a heavy silver cross and big shiny pearls fetches a moderate price. Oh. Might as well keep it around. What do we got here? Ooh, another stone slab. Oh, I didn't even notice. The purple bushes, they're flying out, huh? Ooh, 2 acorn. Don't mind if I do. I don't think you can walk that way. Putting out my matches, too. Maybe. Okay.
This wall, it's a mosaic. It's missing pieces, isn't it? That's what I said. Thank you very much. Okay.
Not too hard. Be a little bit easier when they're on there. Where'd they go? What? I picked them up. Did they automatically go in there? Need 2 more? Huh. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see. Crows, shoes, snake, demon goat man, tree. Got it. More acorns. No acorns.
This is my house. No, it can't be. I'm imagining things. I don't have time for this nonsense. I ought to find Apfel.
What in the Lord's name?
That's my house. I must be losing my mind.
What in the Lord's name?
What is this? My house. My progeny, Elise. Who's there? Come closer, Elise. Delve deeper into my grove. What in the Lord's name? Your fate, Elise, your genesis, is in the tapestry. That woman, she wished for a child of her own. At his doorstep, she kneeled and she prayed not to me, but to him. My grove became the vessel, my soil, the babe's mortal body. In my very womb, they celebrated their agreement. From him came what I lack, what I failed to lay my hands upon. A human soul to be nurtured in my womb, and later given to her as her daughter. When in truth, it's me your body belongs to, Elise.
What is this?
What in the Lord's name? There's something under the tapestry. The stone, its insides have been my womb used for that woman's wish. I was used. What in the Lord's name is going on here? What are these voices trying to tell me? You're wearing my brooch still. Huh? What is one to do when the Lord fails them, would you say? Wait, what are you? Our reunion was favored by the Lord himself, and yet my inability to bear a child drove a wedge between us. Who are you? So I did what I could. I resorted to his blessing instead. I brought him my beloved in exchange for a baby.
What is this?
Wait, you can't be. All I can say to you, Elise, who's following in my steps, is that this is what my soulmate would have wanted me to do. For my sake, for our union's sake, and for yours as well. That lass, it's as if she knew me. I don't know what's going on here, but I can't stay here any longer. I ought to find and save Apfel. Whatever was in the center is gone, I suppose. Such a foul smell. Thick, crimson blood overflows from the cauldron's shattered rim, coating everything in its vicious sheen. Or viscous. The whole upper floor is missing. Now leading nowhere, the staircase's wrinkly and damaged steps are suspended as though floating in midair.
Oh, crap. Well. More acorns. What am I looking at here? Tile matching? Huh. Maybe I can't make sense of this yet. Oh!
What in the Lord's name?
Apfel, hold tight. I'll get you out of there.
That was tiring.
Let's get you out of there and go home.
Rozenmarine.
The woodland, this grove, it's aching. Rosmarine, your flesh, your blood, your love. All that's rightfully mine, my progeny.
What is this?
This thing's not Rosemarine. I can give you all that you desire. What? My beloved daughter.
What in the Lord's name?
What are you? This lass, Rozenmarine. Is she the one your heart desires? What are you? They're coming. We will meet again. A vile stench tainting our grove.
Out with it!
Miss you. The lad's staying where he is, lassie.
Hurry it up!
Apfel, come now. Elise? Quickly, Apfel, we have to leave this place. That creature's brought him right into our beaks, lass. We're not about to waste a hearty meal. Ah, my eye. Come, Apfel. We'll curse you. Dare not defy me. Leave the lad. We'll devour him.
All right.
Apfel, run. I can't move, Elise.
What in the Lord's name?
He's mimicking my movements? My legs, they're moving on their own. We have to leave this place, Apfel. Elise, I'm scared.
Anyway.
Come, Apfel, we have to move.
Oh, thank you. What? Hey! First try. Oh no.
Elise, my eye. Where are we going? Watch your step, Apfel. We'll find a way.
Yes, please.
Alright, Apfel. We can do this.
I'm gonna guess it's probably not good news if he walks into the wall. Oh, we can get... Oh, no. We can get misaligned, it looks like. Wait. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what if I was just walking one on top of the other? What was that? Can you go this way? Oh. Sneaky hidey whatever. Okay. Oh, okay. So we can't be too far away from each other, I see. How do I reset this? Why can't I see? What? Where'd he go?
Elise? I can't see where I'm going.
Wait!
Don't wander around too much, Apfel. Try to follow my voice. Elise, where are you?
All right.
It's alright, Apfel. Walk in a straight line. I'll be watching over you. I feel dizzy, Elise. Trust me, Apfel, I'm right here.
Keep it together, Elise.
Must make certain I don't lose sight of him.
Uh-oh. It's all zoomed in. Oh, it's a race? Is that what this is? Uh-oh. Nuh-uh. I was there. I was gonna catch him. Wow, ton of time this time. Alright, what do we got? Yeah, they were tricking me. Wait, I don't know which one yet. No! Are you alright, Apfel? At least, I feel dizzy. Wait for me. I'm coming for you. Elise. I'm with you now, Apfel. It'll be alright.
All right.
Let's go now. Back to Kieferberg. Mama. Oh, thank heavens you're alright. Mama, Apfel. I was so scared, Mama. You're alright now, my boy. Oh, Apfel, I thought I'd never see you again. It's alright, my loves, we're together now. What a relief. Good lord, Elise, you really did find him. It wasn't easy, that's for certain.
Atta girl.
Folks told us all about it. We were about to set off after you. This is a moment to celebrate, folks. Prepare us a feast, Wilma. We're drinking to Elise tonight. Oh, how wonderful. I'll get right to it. We can't compromise the festival, Wilma. There's nothing better to celebrate than this, Father. The lad's right, Father. We ought to celebrate. To the end, folks. Oh, there you are, Rosemarine. To the end.
Elise. For goodness sake.
What are you doing here, Rosemarine? You weren't coming back, so I came back for you.
I'm sorry.
I saw you coming back with Apfel. He got lost in the woods. I went to look for him is all. Oh, but is he alright?
You know.
Say, Rosemarine, you've been home this whole time. Haven't you...
Of course.
Ah, yes, I made supper and everything. You were taking so long, I thought I... Come, Elise, we ought to celebrate. I'll be right there, Mr. Heinrich. You head on home, Rosemarine.
Yes.
Oh, alright. I won't take too long, alright? I'll be home waiting for you, Elise. So they're counting it as witching hour, but not... Does witching hour have different golden girls? Hell if I know.
Ah, there she is. Oh, Elise, how can I ever repay you? That's all right, Mrs. Lisbeth. There's no need to. Nonsense, Elise. You saved him after all. How's Apfel? Him and Angelica are inside having their supper. I'm too fatigued to join you at the end, but that's all right, Mrs. Lisbeth. I won't be staying long either. Oh, if only my goats weren't so ill. I have nothing to give you as a thank you, Elise. Don't fret over such things, Lisbeth. Come, I'll keep you company. We'll all pitch in to thank Elise tomorrow. There's truly no need. I did what I felt I should. Would you mind telling me more about how you found him tomorrow, Elise? Of course, Mrs. Lisbeth. You too, Elise. See that you get plenty of rest tonight. I'm not certain about what Apfel saw in those woods, but I'll be in serious trouble if he mentions seeing her. Sometimes kids forget details like that. Don't worry.
Atta girl.
Kieferberg owes you a great debt, lass. Lord knows what could have happened had it not been for you. I was lucky as all. No, Elise, I owe you an apology. What matters is that Apfel is safe and sound, Father. Heinrich's right. We have good reason to celebrate. Bottoms up, everyone. To Elise, our brave lass. To Elise. Oh, you don't have to. Nonsense, lass. This is better than the festival, even. A great deal better indeed. It's our chance to unwind, folks. Why don't you grab some ale and grab Freya for a dance, Elise? Ah, yes. We're drinking all night long, lads. Oh, I thought I'd never see you again, lass. I always planned on coming back, Mrs. Audley. There's no need to say that, Mrs. Audley. We're all glad you're safe and sound, Elise, both of you. I must say, I'm surprised you found him, Elise. Those woods go on forever. It wasn't easy, I suppose. You suppose? Oh, but did you see her, Elise? Mrs. Audley. Always with that wretched witch on your mind, aren't you? We're here to celebrate, not waste our time with this nonsense. Yeah, I did. Best to keep my distance. We would have lost the poor lad if it weren't for... Oh, there she is, our bravest lass. You're making too much of it, Mr. Heinrich. Not at all, Lise. It's all thanks to you. We wouldn't have made it in time, that's for certain. I must say, I'm curious to learn more about, None of that matters, Ludwig. Tonight is for celebrating. I won't hear another word about that nonsense. I don't think I'll be staying for long anyhow. Drink up, both of you. Elise is much too young to drink, Heinrich.
What are you talking about? This is Germany. In like 1,000 years ago. Is this Germany? I have no idea where I am. Austria?
Why, how old are you again, Elise? I'm 18, Mr. Heinrich. I turn 18 this year.
Oh, wait.
I turned 19 this year.
Oh.
There you go, Ludwig. She can handle a glass or two, I'm certain. Yeah, maybe some other day, Mr. Heinrich. Atta girl, Elise. All of Kieferberg's in your debt, lass. Lord knows what could have happened had it not been for you. I was lucky as all. No, Bernard's right, Elise. I owe you an apology. What matters is that Apfel is safe and sound. That said, Gustav, we'd best learn from this ordeal. We mustn't leave Kieferberg to the women again. That's true. Oh.
Was it their fault? Huh. Let me remove myself from the immediate assumption here. The kids were out playing like they normally do.
Might say the women handled it rather well, Father. She's got you there, old lad. If not for me, I'm certain the others would have ventured out to find him. That's for certain. Marlin wouldn't have waited long either. Freya was getting ready to follow right after you, Elise. They were gathering to head out when you arrived. We're fortunate to have you, Elise. Enough talk, let's celebrate. Why don't you grab some ale and go grab Freya for a dance, Elise? Ah, yes. Oh my. All of Kieferberg's in your debt, lass. It's the least I could have done if I'm honest. Truly, it could have been much worse. I feared for Jacob, too. Is he alright, Mrs. Marlin? He's home with Linda. It took a lot of effort to settle him for bed, even after you came back, Elise. I see. It's best we never head out on patrol. All at the same time again. Truly, this could have been avoided. It's best we pay poor Elizabeth a visit before we settle in. I wouldn't be able to sleep not knowing how she's doing. I'll go with you. Jacob will like to know Apfel is alright. Oh, it must have been so frightening, Elise. I'd say it was more frightening for Apfel. It's one thing after another with him, isn't it? How is he, Elise? He seemed a little dazed, if I'm honest. No wonder, the poor lad was lost in the woods for hours. Oh, I'll stop by Mrs. Lisbeth's first thing in the morning. She must be exhausted. I can't let Apfel speak of what we saw in the woods. I'd wager you're exhausted as Apfel, at least. I won't stay for long, Mrs. Ariane. Ah, we ought to celebrate while we can, then. Why don't we all have some ale? Can't say my mind is the right place to celebrate. I'd best figure out what to do about that testament.
Why can I not dance with you? Come hither. Unless I'm actually supposed to grab ale. We'll head over there in a moment.
There's our lass. I'm so glad to see you're all right, my dear. You must have been so frightened, poor thing. The woods aren't the most inviting, that's for certain. We're fortunate the lad wasn't taken by the witch, that's what. This is a time to celebrate, old lad. Old Wilhelm's right, we ought to be glad nothing happened. Apfel didn't speak of such things, that's for certain, and I certainly didn't see anything, of course. There's no need to justify yourself, Elise. Make the most of your night, you hear. I don't like to admit it, but old Oaken's not wrong. If that thing was the witch, then
He's been right this whole time.
Atta girl, Elise. I couldn't have done it better myself, lass.
You two have quite a bit of an ale, haven't you?
What better occasion could we have to celebrate? The festival's only a couple days away, Mr. Giddow. This is better than the festival, Elise. A great deal better indeed. I trust you with my baby's life, lass. Oh, well, You're a hero, Elise, no other way to put it. You can't leave Kieferberg now, can you? We're drinking to Elise tonight. Drinking to Elise tonight we are. There's so much on my mind I can't celebrate. I wouldn't know what we would have done without you, dearie. Oh, I only did what I had to, Mrs. Marielle. You're like one of the lads, Elise. When it comes to bravery, most certainly. I suppose. You must be exhausted, my dear. I won't be staying long, Mrs. Marielle. Say, I know it's a kooky thing to ask, but you didn't happen to see the witch, did you?
Oh, Brunhilde.
Why ask such a thing on a day like this? No, but old Oaken and Apfel was taken by the, There was no witch, Mrs. Brunhilde. Apfel got lost in the woods. That's all there is to it. Oh, that's such a relief. It's best I don't expand too much on this story. There you are, Elise, the girl of the hour. Are you alright, Mr. Eugen? Not you too, Elise. A man has to make the most of what he's got left. Don't tell me ale is all you've got, Mr. Eugen. Why don't you take this, Elise? The key? I won't be needing that for where I'm going, that's for certain. Mr. Eugen. You be careful, Elise. These folks aren't to be trusted. Blaming the witch for what happened to my horses. They're all in on it, that's what. I can't very well tell him it really was the witch, can I? Kieferberg this, Kieferberg that. You're the only one in town who's not enamored with this rat hole of a town, Elise. Ah, I suppose. Get away while you can, lest this place ruins you like it ruined me. Mr. Eugen's right. I must do this. I'll head up to that windmill and get this over with.
Nope, still no.
You've come. You've come. The gift lasts the tender flesh.
Out with it!
I've come here to do just that, you wretch. Show it to me. Your ardor, your longing for that wish of yours.
This is ridiculous!
I've already been to your grove. I've cleared your trial. What else is it you want from me? Your commitment. Show it to me, lassie. Your commitment.
You're kidding.
Oh, I'm... Okay, I get it. That crow, it's gone. It's got my hair in it. It'll do, I suppose. It's best I get out of here. The sooner the better. When did I? It's that dream again, but I was in town just now. You again? Didn't you hear me? We'll be late for his banquet if you don't hurry.
Wait!
Banquet? What are you? Huh? It's morning already. I don't feel like I got any sleep at all. It's best I go find Rosemarine. I've done it. I've got one of the testaments. All that's happened so far. It's all real. I best make up my mind. It's time I take this a little more seriously. I'm begging you, Flock. What's going on out there? Oh, please stay put, Flock.
For goodness sake.
What's gotten into him? At least he's throwing a temper tantrum is all. I didn't know goats could do such a thing. I had my hands full with breakfast. I couldn't give him much attention. It's what you get for spoiling him so much, that's what. I know, but I can't resist his sweet little hops.
For goodness sake.
Here truly. Or are you feeling better today, Elise? You still haven't told me about what happened. I can't tell her the full extent of it, can I?
Sure you can.
Not about what I saw in the woods or about her.
I'm sorry,
Are you listening, Elise? Huh?
Are you alright, Elise?
You were telling me about the woods.
Now that you mention
Apfel got lost in the woods, that's all. I went in there to rescue him, I suppose. You're not telling me the whole truth, are you?
Elise,
Elise,
you know,
there's someone in those woods, Rosemary. I don't know who they are, or what they want from me, but I've felt their presence there since Monday. Someone in the woodland, you say? I'm certain they hurt Apfel, or lured him in, even. Have you seen that old hag again, Elise? The one who told you about him,
And the testaments. I haven't seen that hold egg since then, but that Rosemarine I met in the woods. I don't know what to make of any of this, do I?
I'm sorry,
Elise? Come, Rosemarine. We should move along. No, it's best you go ahead without me, Elise. I think I'd best find Flock. I'll be right there with you. All right.